Create scatterplots for the following sets of data. Determine what type of model would best fit the data. If a quadratic function would be a good fit, give an estimate for the vertex and determine whether it is a maximum or minimum point. So let's create a scatterplot. I'll use the calculator to do that. So let's go into our statistical features and edit. I'll clear out some of this old stuff here. Alright, list 1 we'll call x, -5, -3, -2, 1, 3, and 5, and -18, -26, -27, -18, -2, 22. Alright, reasonable window would be maybe, let's see, how about, let's go from -7 to 7 on the x-axis. And for our y's, let's go from -30 to 30. And I'm going to use a scale of 5 on that axis. Let me turn my stat plot on. Let's use the plot 1, which compares list 1 versus list 2. And let's look at y equals screen. Okay, I don't have anything else in there, and let's graph it. Alright, so if I look at this data, I only see 5 data points. Where there should be 6 data points, shouldn't there? Stat, edit. -5, -3, -2, 1, 3, 5. Oh, I typed 55, and that should be a 22. I don't know where I got 55 from. Okay, now let's graph it. Alright, so if I look at that, it certainly appears as though those points, they look quadratic. I see a parabola there. Alright, so, and it looks like the vertex would be in this general area here. Looks like that vertex would be somewhere in here, so I'm sort of thinking like that. And so I think the vertex is -2, -27. So I think the vertex would be -2, -27, and that it would be a minimum point. All right, exercise B, something similar here. Stat edit. All right, let's -1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 10. 44, 59, 59, 56, 44, 11. Alright, let me check my window. -1 to 10, let's go a little bit to either side. So how about -3 to 12 and a scale of 1. And my minimum is 11, so I'm going to go from 0. My maximum is 59, so I'm going to go to 70. And I'll use a scale of 10s here. Alright, and let me grab that and bring it over here. Alright, again, it looks quadratic. And I'm sort of thinking it looks something like a little bit in here would be the vertex. And so I think it would be between these points. Between these points would be the vertex. So it looks like the vertex would be 3 and would have to be a little bit more than 59. So I'm going to go with 60. 360, and that would be a maximum. All right, let's look at one more. Stat edit. Let's change out some data points here. Negative 1, 1, 4, 5, 9, and 12. 14.25, 7.75, negative 2, negative 5.25, negative 18.25, negative 25. Window, negative 1 to 12, let's just change that, negative 3, let's make that a negative 3 to 14. My minimum y value is negative 25, so let's go a little bit further. How about negative 30? My maximum y value is 14.25, so let's go to 20 on that, and I'll use a scale of tens again. All right, I look at this, and this looks linear. All right, it looks like I could draw almost a perfectly straight line through those points. It wouldn't be exact, but I can draw almost a perfectly straight line that would go through those points. So this is not quadratic, so we don't need it would be useless to try to find a vertex because quadratic doesn't make sense here.